Hi friends, I'm Liz Patton. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach who I am just super passionate about helping women find body and food freedom so they can live their fullest, most free lives in Christ. And today I want to talk to you about why I and our family were ditching the Switch Witch. So if you don't know what the Switch Witch is, this is something that I, for years, did with my kids at Halloween with their candy. So what happens is kids eat their Halloween candy in moderation on Halloween night, and then the next day, the Switch Witch comes in and she takes the Halloween candy away and she replaces the candy with maybe, a special toy that they wanted. In the past, our family has gone to like a fun place that they enjoy that we don't normally go to, like as a special treat for dinner or lunch or something like that. So the idea is that they enjoyed the candy on Halloween night, but the Switch Witch takes it away the next day so that it's not a temptation for them, yada, yada, yada. So like we did the Switch Witch for years, and so if that is something that is a tradition in your family, I am not telling you that that's something that is quote unquote bad, but I'm just going to share with you today the reasons why I feel compelled to no longer do the Switch Witch, okay? And I wish that I had learned, like when we know better, we do better, right? But I felt like at the time I was doing the right thing for my kids because I wanted them to be healthy, right? Don't we all want our kids to be healthy? So I thought, okay, well, they'll enjoy it on Halloween, and then after that, it just won't be around for them. And I would send it in to their teachers as class rewards, or they have the deal now where dentists will take your Halloween candy and give kids money for it and everything. So we do it because we want them to be healthy. But the more research I have done with disordered eating, the more I've learned. And so I want to share with you today 3 reasons why we're not doing the Switch Witch anymore. And maybe just these are things for you to be thinking about for your family as well. And a lot of this research I've done by reading about Julie Duffy Dillon, who's a registered dietitian, who, after working with her clients to help them lose weight, realized that they kept coming back to her, and yes, they could lose the weight, but then they couldn't maintain the weight loss, and then there was guilt and shame and everything like that. We don't want this for our kids, right? And so the number one reason why we're personally not doing the Switch Witch this year is because allowing candy in your house teaches your kids how to be around all kinds of foods. Because if you only have the candy on Halloween night and then the next day it magically disappears, they don't know how to handle themselves when they're around candy. So they have this whole feast and famine thing going on. So like Halloween night, they might just like go crazy on it because they know the next day you're going to take it away from them. Whereas tonight, they have the candy. They know that tomorrow, if they want the candy, they can have it because it's not going anywhere. So there's no Last Supper mentality for them tonight. They don't need to go crazy on the candy because there's no power of the candy anymore. When we make it this forbidden thing, then it has more power than it needs to. And if we ask that of ourselves too, like we don't need to go crazy on the Snickers tonight because we know that if we wanted a Snicker bar tomorrow, we could have it if we wanted it. Hey Jesse, I'm so glad you're here. So take away the power of the food so we're not crazy around the food anymore, okay? We don't want our kids to have the good food police in their heads like it might be in ours. They model, like we are modeling for them what they're going to do as they become adults, okay? So when we aren't crazy around food, when we don't make it a big deal, they don't make it a big deal, right? And so I just encourage you to not make the candy like any big forbidden thing. Like it's just candy. It doesn't have any moral righteousness. It's no better or worse than an apple. When we make them think that the apple is good and the candy is bad, then suddenly they crave the candy, right? The candy seems like that forbidden thing that they can't have. But when we make, it's just food is food. We're the ones that say that it's good and bad, okay? Our kids are such natural, intuitive eaters. They are born knowing what their bodies need. As adults, we're the ones that put all these rules and restrictions around food. So let's let our kids just be kids, right? They know when their bellies ache, when they don't want any more candy, right? They're not going to eat beyond that point because they're super smart that way. Second reason why we're ditching the Switch Witch, no candy says more about us as adults than it says about them. Us saying that we need to get rid of the candy tomorrow, that's our hang up, right? That's us being afraid that if the candy is around the house, we don't have any control over it. Our kids, as I already mentioned, they're great at knowing their bodies and being intuitive. And what I found really interesting in doing research about this, in the 70s, the average age for a girl to begin dieting was 14. Now still that's early, right? But I think for a lot of us as moms, if you're watching this, you can probably relate to like that middle school, early high school, maybe realizing that like, okay, my body is different and I want to maybe, you know, control it in some way. But 14. Today, the average age of a girl, now this is an average, okay? So obviously some girls are going to start earlier, some are going to start later, but the average age of a girl today dieting is 8 years old. 8 years old, y'all. That's crazy. And I really honestly think, and I'm taking responsibility here in this as well, they model what they see their moms do. And so I just got to a point, I know, right? It's crazy. So I just reached this point for myself where I was like, I need my kids to see that it's normal that I can be around candy. I don't need to magically make it disappear tomorrow because it's not a big deal, okay? They see us. If they see us acting crazy around candy, they're gonna think that there's something that needs to be crazy around candy, and they're gonna model what they see us modeling. That's what they're gonna do. So second reason is why, because it says more about us than it says about them. Let's be honest, and look, I had to get very real about that with myself, okay? Just because I'm health conscious, I mean, you can be health conscious without being like crazy restrictive about it, right? And that is a balancing act that I'm still working on. Third reason, having the candy teaches our kids to not let food have more power than it deserves. Kristen says, I was 10 when I first thought I needed to diet. Yes, and now you have a 9-year-old, right? I know, so it's getting younger and younger, right? 14 years old in the 70s to 8 years old now. So yes, we see that trend, and like we've got to do, as mamas, we got to do something about it, right? So our third reason for ditching the Switch Witch is we want kids to know that the food doesn't have to have power over them. I read a really like crazy interesting research study where they took women who they called restrained eaters, okay? Because if you go up to any woman on the street and ask her if she's dieting, she's probably not going to say to you that she's dieting, right? Because we don't ever like to say that we're dieting. But a lot of women restrain themselves, right? So they're restrained eaters. Like we all have these secret rules in our heads about food. So they gave these women, 2 groups of women, both groups of women were restrained eaters. One group of women got a milkshake followed by 3 bowls of ice cream. The other group of women just got the 3 bowls of ice cream, okay? No rules were given to them, just like they put this food in front of them. The restrained eaters who only got the 3 bowls of ice cream, they ate very little of the ice cream. They were like, I'm gonna be good today. Like those were the words they used, like I'm gonna be good, right? I'm gonna be good today. So the food police was like all in their head telling them, you know, just eat a very little bit. The women who got the milkshake followed by the 3 bowls of ice cream, they drank the whole milkshake and then they like practically ate every single bowl of ice cream. Because, and look, I'm just being honest. If you're watching this and you can relate, I'd love for you to comment below. But what happened to them was, okay, boom, I just drank the milkshake, I just blew it, I might as well just eat the ice cream, y'all, because I just drank the milkshake, so I'm just gonna enjoy this ice cream and I'll start again tomorrow, right? They had that Last Supper mentality that a lot of us have. And so, like, I don't want that for my kids. I don't want them to feel like, well, I ate the Snickers, so I might as well eat all the Kit Kats and all the Starbursts and all the blah, 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 because mom's going to take this candy away tomorrow and then I'm going to go back to restriction, right? So yes, eat all the things. Like, exactly, Jesse. Like, we, you know, this is our hang up though, not our kids, right? So, I mean, I don't want to mess them up any more than I've maybe already messed them up, okay? So like, look, when we know better, we do better. I can't go back. I can't change that I've done the switch in the past. You know, my kids get all foods now. Like, I'm trying to be very conscientious of having an all foods fit household, because someday they're going to leave here and they're going to choose food for themselves. And I don't want them to think that food has power over them. Food is just food. We're the ones who say that it's good and that it's bad. So I hope that encourages you tonight as you have candy with your kids. Having some Halloween candy in the house is not going to make them have an obesity problem. And the last thing I'll say, in doing research for this, one of the registered dietitians, her name is Ellen Satter. She's written a great book about healthy families. So what she says is, after Halloween, let them have as much as they want tonight, okay? Because their little bodies know what they can handle. They know when they've had enough and they stop. Okay, we're the ones that eat beyond fullness because we know, like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to get back on track and I'm only going to eat fruits and vegetables and blah, blah, blah. So she says, let them have as much tonight as they want. And then moving forward, only have it available at meals and snacks. So like, it's not just sitting out on the counter for them to graze and eat as they walk by randomly and, you know, they're not even paying attention. If they're going to eat the candy, they're going to sit at the table and enjoy it as a snack and serve them a glass of milk with it, right? It's not a big deal, okay? It's just, that's their snack. And let them and their bodies determine what they need. It's just that mindless munching that we sometimes do that can, you know, maybe make it be a problem moving forward. So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts if you're watching this recording. Thank you, Jesse. You're a good mama too. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're watching the recording, just still comment below. If you're struggling with this, okay, first of all, know that you're not alone. I talk with women every day that are working through this stuff, okay? I have a free body freedom guide, and I will put the link to that below, totally free, with 10 tips to help you find freedom, because you can get to the other side of this where food is like, I mean, honestly, there was a time when I white knuckled Halloween. Like, I was terrified of the Almond Joy, okay? Like, oh my gosh, if there's an Almond Joy in my kid's bag, like, look out, because I'm gonna eat that and then I'm gonna say, oh, I screwed up, now I'm gonna, all this other stuff. Who cares anymore, right? It's just, it doesn't have power over me, and I can help you get there. I would love to help you get there. So I'll link to that beneath this video, and hopefully that will be helpful to you. All right, have fun tonight with your kiddos.